Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, and I'm wearing a little makeup. I did my hair. I have a doctor's appointment later today around 1 o'clock, and then I have another call for a pre-procedure that's coming up. I don't know, maybe the 17th or so. I can't remember the exact date of October. I'm getting another dilation done. Hopefully, when they go in there and they measure, it hasn't regressed. Because they injected the stricture with a steroid that should hopefully keep it from recreating the stricture to try and heal itself. On one hand, it's great. My body wants to heal itself, but on the other hand, it's not beneficial for stool to pass through there. So, what's been going on lately? I have definitely been feeling depression, and it's hard. A couple weeks ago, I went and it was like the weekend before I got off of medical leave. I knew I was going to be starting work on Monday. I think it was like Saturday. I went to my gym and did a class, and I just did body weight for the most part, an unloaded barbell. Didn't do some of the actual movements because I can't do a lot with my legs as far as squatting and lunging, etc. Can't do a lot with my abdomen. I'm finding that those types of things are really impacting my pelvic floor. They're just not, my abdominals are not stable enough to support some of the movements that are going on with my legs. So I can't really, I could, I just would hurt myself more and more and just regress. So I choose not to do those types of movements right now. And that was like one of the first things I had done in a long time other than walking. And I felt okay afterwards, didn't feel like anything had been aggravated. And what was amazing about it is even though I was super number one, deconditioned, even though I did all that very regressed and modified type of workout, and it was still CrossFit. So really anybody can do CrossFit. You just have to choose the right modifications for your body at the time. And I did that, and it was basically very unloaded. But I came home just in like, oh my gosh, I was in the best mood. Those endorphins, and it is the natural medicine that we should be taking advantage of. Go and do something hard, go and it doesn't have to be like I'm passing out afterwards or whatever, but just go and challenge yourself physically. And I say that because I can walk, but it doesn't challenge me physically, and I feel okay afterwards, but I do not feel like I feel when I challenge myself physically. The walking is not a challenge, but when I go to CrossFit and even completely unloaded, I challenge myself physically, and these endorphins that I get from it they're just natural medicine, and that is really missing from my life because of some of the limitations I have with my recovery from this stricture. It's been tough. I asked my husband, like, what do you think? What do you see? And he thinks I look fine, and someone else I asked, they're like, you're good at putting on a good face. So no one really knows that you're struggling, which is true. I am a strong person. I learned this from a young age to put on a strong face and push through difficulties. And it's not getting me the support that I need, and I go to some of my doctors and I feel like I'm missing some of the support that I need, particularly from the GI doctors. I need more education. They haven't educated me at all on the long-term plan. Where are we going from here? What does this look like? What do we do after this if it's not better? What are we trying to avoid exactly by doing the stricture dilations? And my idea is probably a colostomy. That's what I'm, afraid of. And as I told my therapist, the trauma continues. It just keeps on coming. I have spoken to my physical therapist, who's probably been my best advocate through this whole thing. And she's dealt with strictures before in the colon, but nothing like this. This is very severe. Like it's, I can't even do my therapy. So when I get my dilation, I need at least 2 weeks to probably recover and maybe get my stool under control. um, the pain and everything that comes with, cleaning out, doing a liquid diet, cleaning out your entire digestive system, then dilating it, and the healing process of the dilation. It's a long process. And in some ways, I feel like I'm getting better because the stricture is not impacting my lower back. It's not taking my sacrum and trying to twist it because there's so much tension and so many warnings firing in my lower half of my body. It's not like going up my back or, in my glutes and things like that. I basically, like right now, I have just like a dull pain and a little bit and pressure on my rectal area. There's just pressure. And so all of a sudden, I'll have to go to the bathroom. I have to run. And what I've been doing now recently in this past week is a liquid diet. I'm trying to rest the whole system. I think it's over agitated. Um, and I think the liquid make it easier to pass through, etc. So I've been changing some things up and I think it's working. I'm still going to the bathroom like tons of times a day. I do have to wear Depends and incontinence pads because the tenesmus makes me pee. I can't stop. Tenesmus is these involuntary contractions to void my body to of like stool. And when that happens, because there's this pushing and pushing, and I am not pushing, it's my body pushing involuntarily, I end up peeing too. So it's like I keep changing myself regularly throughout the day. I am shopping in aisles of the store that, isn't exactly expected of someone my age. Wouldn't expect this for at least maybe 30 or 40 more years. And it's the lack of support, um, reaching out to all of my doctors, and I felt like I was saying, like, please help me. I'm in so much pain. And I felt like I was just in the ocean, waving my hand, and I'm just not getting anything that's really helpful. No plan. I don't know where I'm going. I did my own research to kind of figure out what happens with strictures, and the hard thing is I am a nurse, but it's hard to care for yourself. It's very hard to care for yourself and know what to do. So I spoke to my mother yesterday and she was like, I would recommend maybe doing XYZ with this kind of information. And that's what I did. And now I have a doctor's appointment for today to speak to my doctor, about this depression. I've definitely felt hopeless because this has been going on for like 2 years and we only found the stricture back in July. And it's just, it seems like in some ways it's more intense more often. And I don't know. I hope that it's just part of the healing. I hope that it will get normalized again someday. I hope that I don't have to run to the bathroom like 12 times a day or change myself several times a day and clean up and and be prepared when I go out for things like this to happen. I'm hoping that I can get back to some kind of a normalcy. Um, yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at in this mental and physical state. There's a lot of pain a lot of days. There's a lot of rushing to the bathroom. Um, there's a lot of moments of incontinence, and that's when you can't hold your bowel or bladder. That's called incontinence. Yeah, it's tough. It is starting to impact my self-confidence and how I feel about myself. So if you'll notice today, I am wearing some makeup, and I'll go through what I'm wearing and that. And I am, I've done my hair a little bit today to try, got dressed. I'm trying to do the things. The depression is in my brain. The depression is not who I am. The depression is something going, in my brain. And I'm on medications that can cause nervous system depression. So, that's what I'll be talking about with my doctor today. Like, is it my medications that are, impacting me? But I have chronic pain now. So, and a chronic issue that can also affect my mood. Um, but I'm doing what I think I need to do to help myself, which is try to stay active. Um, now I'm going to be getting dressed. I'm going to be putting on makeup. I'm going to be doing my hair. I usually don't do these things. I haven't done these. I haven't cared so much about like hair or makeup or anything since about 2018. I have my reasons for it. Don't necessarily need to go into it today, but if you're interested in my thoughts on it, you can message me. But there's, some reasons why I don't buy into the beauty industry often. And, by wearing makeup and, hair products or whatever. So, um, been looking online about little tutorials like what if you don't want to do a lot of makeup, but you still want to get yourself ready? What does that look like? So I found some, professional makeup artists that are like, if you're not a makeup girl, this is what you could do. And I was like, okay, well, I'll try that. And I did buy a little palette from Morphe. Is it Morphe or Morphe? Okay, so now if you're not interested in makeup, you can leave. But what I bought recently was this little palette by Morphe, I don't know, but it was like a little sampler thing, and it came with these colors and a sample little mascara and an eyeshadow brush. This is an eyeshadow palette. It's called the Artistry Palette. That's all I know. Oh, Stroke of Midnight Artistry Palette. I got it at Target in their like Ulta section, 5S. They did tell me what the colors were, but there's like a shimmery kind of pale gold and then like a pale pink and a coppery brown and like a mauve and like a dark brown or whatever. It's really hard to see in the camera. Yeah, the only one I didn't use today, I think, is this one, the shimmery one. Yeah, I think I used the rest of these. And that was the Morphe palette or whatever. And then, so let's see, I put this all over my eye. I did this in my crease. I did this as my liner with this, you know, flat, chunky brush. This is what are they called? I don't know, Ecos or something like that. I did this for like lining and smudging just on my eye. And then I came in with this shimmery, like right over the middle with just my finger and then like, buffed it out with this whatever brush that they gave me, Morphe M139. And then this is the Make It Big volumizing mascara. I actually really like it. It's pretty good. I usually don't use commercial regular kind of makeups. I usually tend to go for like more natural things. Um, so for example, what I started with was kind of dirty, sorry, but I used the Honest Company Everything Primer Matte, and I just put this all over my face and eyes. I like to use, safer ingredients. And so I did that, and then I cannot live without this Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion. I do this, I've been using this for years, but I actually use it for my under eye and my eyelid. It's meant for your eyelids, but I don't care. I do it under here too, because if you have any creasing at all, I found that it makes it, really applies the makeup really nicely. And then I went in with my Tarte medium, what is this called? Concealer. I put very, very little on my finger pads, and I just kind of pat here. I try not to do a lot because on more mature eyes, like the younger people can just like slather this stuff on, but on more mature eyes, you get more creasing. So I use very little, and I just kind of like dot it in this shadows of my hollows in my eyes. And then on my eyelids, I do a little bit more. And then I went in with the all the different colors from the palette. Then I used another Ecos brush, and I kind of brushed off. Oh, that's not true. I used this Bare Minerals Mineral Veil pressed powder. And the reason I used the pressed powder versus the loose powder is because it was less chemicals and more safe. So I used that with this like kind of like flat brush, and just put it on there, tap, and then I just kind of pressed in to the concealer to set it. That's what one of those makeup artists said, was to set it. But for mature eyes, you kind of have to wipe the excess away, otherwise it'll start creasing. So that's what I use my Ecos Big Fluffy Brush for. And then I use the Mineral Fusion, again, a more health wellness brand of makeup. I use their darker one for my bronzer, and I use this for my bronzer. And I don't go in the hollows of your cheeks. If you want to elevate your cheeks, you actually go a little higher. So I've been using that there, and I do this number 3. I had makeup done for my wedding, and that's what I learned, was do like a 3. So I do that with this. After that's done, I actually used the mascara because I always hit my eye in certain areas and I want to wipe it off. It's best to wipe off mascara after it dries so it doesn't like smear all over. Once it dries, it's kind of flaky and you can just scratch it off with your finger or a cotton swab. So I almost always hit myself somewhere with the excess, not on my lashes. And I used this, so I let that dry. And while that's drying, I went into my Well People, another health brand or health or wellness brand of berry, and it is for your cheeks. So it's a little cream stick. I rub it on my fingers, actually, rub my fingers together, and then I just pat it just above where I put the bronzer, and that like brings your cheeks up. I don't know that I need to do that. Everybody tells me that I have good cheekbones and they're pretty high, so I do it anyway. Now they're higher. And that's pretty much everything I did. I didn't do like any what do they call it, tinted moisturizer or foundation or anything. I just did, my natural skin. I'm not trying to do a whole lot. I don't really want to do that. So I just didn't do it today. So I'm doing that self-care to just try and like feel better. And then as far as my hair, I re-wet it because it curls all the time. I re-wet it and scrunched it. I just sprayed like water in it. And then I used this stuff called, it's by Joico. It's called Curl Confidence. It was given to me as a gift by one of my friends. It's Curl Confidence by Joico. Smells amazing. You only need like a pea-sized amount for this much hair. And it's a little cream. It's not crunchy. Your hair doesn't get crunchy. It just kind of like smooths out those curls. And it looks like this now, but when it dries, it's going to look even better. And I love that stuff. And then I might do this for a day. And then Joico also has like a texturizing spray that I'll use that has more of a grit to it. So like in between washes, this is kind of my thing. First day, natural, whatever's there is there. Second day, curl cream. Third day, dry shampoo. And then this texturizing spray. And that's the day I'm probably washing my hair. So, and then the whole process starts over. So that's what I've done to try and, do some self-care and maybe feel about better. But I should probably put on some perfume and some jewelry. Going to the doctor to talk about depression. And I'm going to walk in and they're like, you don't look depressed. I'm like, yeah, that's me trying not to be depressed. Because you got to try. You got to work on it. You can't just lay around and hope it goes away. You have to work on it. You got to work on your thoughts. You got to work on your routine, having a routine of like, I'm going to get up at this time. I'm going to do these things to care for myself. I am going to get dressed and wear clothing. I wore my favorite deodorant today. It's called Pink Beach. It's by this brand called Saltaire. Again, another wellness brand. It's got some chemicals in it because I find the completely natural ones just don't work. So I use this one and it smells so good. And I don't think Target's going to hold the brand anymore, but I will keep looking for it on Amazon, etc. So that's what I do to help myself with depression. I am having a moment now where I need to run to the bathroom. So everybody have a great day. Remember to have your routine and do some self-care. Take care.